Welcome back, guys, to the Mason Dixon Line official league official podcast today. This is the last podcast, as this is before the league draft. Maybe it's not the last one. Maybe I'll do another one. Who knows? But this is important because it's our first ever annual Socratic seminar. Everybody say what's up.
What's going on,
What's up?
guys? I don't really think this is too bad, if I have to be honest. I don't
What is that? What do you got
That
there?
was like plenty. That was like
Someone
plenty.
say this is fun. I don't know. I'm putting it out
Dude,
there.
is that like a meter stick you had out, bro? Yo, what the hell?
Yeah, 3 meters is kind of wild, bro.
Okay, hold up. Now we're going on to the first question. As this is a Socratic seminar, please don't interrupt each other. Wait for somebody to make their claims and statements before you ask to jump in and provide your own viewpoint. Let's keep this as civil as possible. First question we have on the docket is Chase Brown or Javonte Williams in 2026. I have some accompanying stats on the screen to help lead the discussion.
Can I start this one?
Yeah, of course.
So, as someone who I think one of the few people in here, it seems like at this point, who doesn't own Chase Brown or Javonte Williams at some point in this dynasty, I am low on Chase Brown, and I'm actually pretty high on Javonte Williams.
Okay.
And even then, it's still crazy to think that Javonte is actually a better pick than Chase Brown in 2026.
Curious.
I think Chase Brown is a little overrated, and I think that the Cowboys are going to have a really good offense, and so Javonte is probably going to be good. But even then, I think if you ask me straight up, which one would I rather have, it's easily Chase Brown.
I think I would agree. I think Chase Brown is one of those fantasy good guys because I feel like if I'm talking what running backs are good in real life,
Chase Brown
Chase
kind of feels like propaganda to me. He feels like bots and randoms are really big on Chase Brown. But
I feel like with Chase Brown, we've had more consistency, and I feel like
he had a
defense always sucks, so they're always playing down.
Yeah. And you think Joe Burrow is gonna hypothetically be good, but even then, if it's not, then they still give him the ball a bunch.
I forgot to actually. I meant to include.
Is available. Chase Brown is a lot better, but when he's not, Chase Brown does get worse.
I actually meant to include the availability stats on the screen. I forgot to add them, but I believe Javonte Williams has missed significantly more games per season. I will be looking that up though while you guys continue.
You know he had an ACL injury at some point.
So
I mean, you didn't just based on the fantasy finishes we have. I feel like we can assume that.
Yeah, actually, let me get some clarification here. Javonte Williams only had one season where he missed any games, actually. Even one game. It was his second season where we see he finished with 33 points. He tore his ACL, missed the whole season. Chase Brown, in his career, didn't play 4 games his rookie year. I'm going to assume that's because he wasn't the starter, which would also show why he only had 44 touches that year. But then the next 2 years, he didn't miss a single game.
Yeah, gotta love a durable running back, a guy who gets the ball a lot. I get it with Chase Brown. I just think he's a little bit overrated. But still he's better than Javonte, and I like Javonte.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna be fair and say they probably both have a good amount of durability or same level of durability. Even if it took Javonte a while to come back from the ACL, performance wise, it seems like they both played to this point in their career basically every game.
Right. But I do just feel like the opportunity. I feel like Javonte Williams got a lot of touches last year, and that was a lot of they're playing down, right? They got to put points up.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's the same case with Chase Brown, but I feel like the Bengals defense, I probably think will be a little better, but I still have my doubts. I do feel like the Cowboys defense seems to not pretty over.
I
also think sometimes.
That Javonte is a B tier running back, then Chase Brown is B plus. So I guess slight downgrade, but I think
I kind of agree. I think a lot of people
pretty much
I think a lot of people consider Chase Brown to be an A running back.
For fantasy.
I think for fantasy purposes, most people would say that.
I'm going to jump in here and say I think I agree, actually. I feel like in real life, when you think about Chase Brown, you think about him as a productive guy, but not a special talent. And definitely in fantasy, when you look at these, sometimes you think about a player and then you look at their fantasy score and you can't deny the production, you know what I mean? So it's some players just built like that. I think it's also part of it, it's a real life skill to be a good receiving back, and not every back is a good receiving back, even though that seems simple. And Chase Brown seems to have figured that out, considering how good he is with Joe Burrow in that way. But
Right.
you still don't like him between the tackles as much as like a traditional guy like Javonte.
Yeah. And I think the question comes down to what's like if in terms of like fantasy, I guess like asset value, what's like the difference between the two? Because I feel like it's not a crazy amount, but some people might think it is.
I would say it's a big difference in fantasy because when you look at this, Chase Brown's second year in the league, his lowest finish as a starter is better than any single Javonte year, including his most recent peak year at 11th overall.
And I think most people see more multi-year potential in Cincinnati than they do in Dallas. Dallas
Even though
feels
they're the
like
same
it's
age.
like even though they're the same age, but like if you're looking at like Dynasty, like the next 2 years, Dak's getting old and Joe Burrow is not that old, and the receivers in Cincinnati are better in my opinion. You think the receivers in Cincinnati are better than the receivers in Dallas?
I
It's
think I
close.
like
Maybe
Jamar
about
Chase
equal.
more than CD.
But you gotta like
Pickens
Pickens better than Oak Ridge High School legend T. Higgins.
I think they kind of
Joe
even
Burrow
out, to
is
be
very
honest.
injury prone though, even though Dak is definitely older, but Joe Burrow
Yeah,
is
but
also
I feel
very
like he missed like half the year last year, and when they brought Joe Flacco in, and Chase Brown still put
Chase
up
Brown
pretty
gets the ball
solid.
out. Chase Brown put it out. Because then they try to give him the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Okay.
I think that
2020 ACL.
I think that I agree
2023.
with your assessment, Ivan, of like B versus B plus, but I do think that most people consider Chase Brown to be a full on A. I think like that's the consensus.
At least in
And
at least in a points per reception league. Yeah.
Yeah. And even we're half PPR, so
Yeah, just any points per reception, I mean, yeah. Chase Brown definitely he gets that receiving back bonus.
Yeah.
And is, but are you scared of who's the backup in Cincy who they were giving the ball to a good amount?
Taj Brooks, maybe?
No.
Is it something Marine?
Oh, wait, they're saying something about Taj Brooks. I think it is Taj
Samaji
Brooks.
Samaji Perine.
I don't even know if he's
but
still
you
there.
you probably have to be just as worried about.
Let me bring in some more context too. That's talked about a lot recently. Is that Chase Brown is up for extension, and you never know if the cheap ass Bengals are going to extend a decent player. And Javonte, I believe, just got a 2 or 3 year extension with the Cowboys after last season.
Wasn't super long.
So he has a little more long term security with his team than Chase Brown does. For all we know, Chase Brown's like a Raider in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to think that if somebody pays him, then I think he's good enough that you don't really worry too much about that.
Yeah. But it's also, I would say, similarly, if T. Higgins got traded to another team, I don't know if I'd feel as confident as I do about T. Higgins on the Bengals, because that is just like a high-powered offense.
T. Higgins is just he's a wide receiver one in the making, though. He's still there. He is that guy. You ever seen him? You ever seen those Clemson highlights?
Oh, yeah, maybe I should look him up.
He's pretty good, dude.
Maybe I should look him up. All right, I'm going to move on to the next topic now. I think that was a healthy discussion. I'm proud of the room for keeping it civil. Let's see if that continues. Who is the best, worst player you can win with? I didn't have as much raw statistics for this one, but I brought up a couple examples just to, give us some ideas. In terms of our two fantasy
best player,
seasons.
do you mean like
the worst
in terms of stats, worst in terms of like
social okay, the meaning of this is like every team has the best player on the team, right?
Right.
Who is the worst best player you can have that you can realistically be considered a contender or like a favorite, right? So these are the best players on previous winning teams. Like this year, our dynasty winner, season 1, was Puka Nacua, who ended the season as wide receiver 1 in fantasy. In our redraft league the year before, the best player on that team was Josh Allen, who finished as the QB1 and the real life NFL MVP. And just, as another random example, we have the 2025 Seattle Seahawks, who had Jackson Smith and Jigba on the team, who was wide receiver 2, arguably wide receiver 1, like in terms of real life performance, and offensive player of the year. And so the question is like, what is the cutoff line for like what your best player can be? Like if you have the wide receiver 10 as your best player, can you win a championship? If you have the running back 10 as your best player, can you win the championship? That's the discussion.
I feel like your league winners are guys who have really high floors. Like I feel like Josh Allen, consistent like close to 17, 18 minimum. The occasional
I don't
off
know.
weeks,
Dude,
but his like ceiling is
Puka
like
carried
up to 40.
Jacob so hard in the
Yeah.
playoffs, though.
Yeah.
Like Puka putting up like 45 in 3 straight weeks or whatever it was, just totally like it. Yeah, you have to think who are the guys who you actually are convinced could even do that.
Yeah.
Jamar
You're
Chase, I would
really
say.
high ceiling guys.
Chase, so
Jamar
you really
Chase,
have to have.
Bijan carried another team to the finals, even though he didn't
So,
win the finals.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bijan brought Oscar all the way there.
I would say year on year.
CMC when healthy.
Yep.
Dude, he is
CMC's
that guy.
a
Yeah,
lone
yeah.
winner, really.
Yeah. I would throw Gibbs in that category too.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
think
feel like there's a ton of guys because I feel like if you don't have a guy with a very high ceiling, you're really just banking on my team collectively getting hot, as opposed to like I need
Yeah.
my league winner to just carry.
So in your initial photo, you said, "What is it, Nico Collins?" Which
well, that was
it
just a
might be-
conversation point.
it might be Nico Collins in my head. That's not a bad. That's the tier I think. Is
Well,
the
that's
I'm
lowest.
not a
why
big
I brought up,
Nico
like,
Collins truther, but
Earlier, I brought up the what's like the line, like wide receiver 10 or so, because Nico Collins, I think we probably expect to be in like that wide receiver 10 to 7 range, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance he could blow off this year, but I feel like that's the realistic range of expected outcomes there. And so, if he's your best player on your team, including running back room, is that enough to win a championship?
I don't know if he's a guy who can get you like.
I don't know. I really
some
don't
high
know if he
fish.
is, honestly.
As someone who's owned Jamar Chase in a different league, like, dude, I've watched a guy put up like 40, 50 points like cash.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that's something where I can bank on like 1 to 2 times a year. Like Jamar Chase is gonna like put out. Josh Allen is a guy who's gonna put out. I don't know if Nico Collins is that kind of guy who'll give you like a 40 bird. I don't know. I'd have to go look at like what his game log looks like, but I just don't think he's a guy. No, I think he's a very consistent, solid guy.
Yeah,
I don't know
I don't know if
if
Nico Collins. Do you think Drake London's that guy though?
Not really, but I think he's like very good. I
don't know
like
if
him
he
better
is.
than Nico Collins.
I think
but-
Drake London, if you have a similar tier running back, could be that guy. Do you know what I mean?
So I understand that, but I was looking at fantasy rankings for this upcoming year. Drake London is right behind Justin Jefferson, who I think is definitely that guy.
You know, let
Yeah,
me
I agree.
to maybe help this exercise a little bit. I'm gonna list out the top wide receivers from last season, and we're just gonna see if we can decide a cutoff line of wide receiver that could realistically like be a championship carrier. Okay.
Sure.
Number 1, Puka Nacua. We obviously know
Yes.
he can do it, right?
He
Number
literally
2,
did.
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty
Put up
pretty
the stats.
clear cut. Number 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 4, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna throw in here he was like top 30 last year, but I'm gonna throw in Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Mhm.
Next up is George Pickens. This is actually a really interesting one. George Pickens.
No. I feel like he got a lot of. I think he'll still be good next year, but I think
Listen,
CeeDee
man.
Lamb
So
going
that
out.
would put the cutoff
If
at 5,
Chase
but
would
I'm gonna
trade
throw
me
in
George Pickens, I'd be so happy.
I'm gonna throw in some other names because I feel like George Pickens is a funny placement here. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. Not as much as some of the other guys, but I think
Because
he's
you
like
think about what you think his peak is. Like CeeDee Lamb was injured last year for at least 3 weeks,
yeah.
and 2 years ago was wide receiver 2 or some wide receiver 3, something like that. Like
He's
Yeah, I'll
still
put
a
him
great
at 2.
player.
yeah.
I think he was wide receiver
But
1 at his peak, but I would have
But
to
I
check
will
to make sure.
say, I like anybody after Lamb. I don't know, man.
See, after Lamb, we get to Drake London, actually, in terms of last season's
I
average
like
points.
Drake London. I don't think the situation is
I don't
like
think
good
so,
enough.
actually. Especially not this coming year. Not with the quarterback situation in Atlanta.
So I think that roughly leads us at wide receiver 6 for what we're calling like the cutoff line, right?
Right.
So
and then running backs.
we can go to running backs now. So number 1, I'm doing this by average points now. Just decided to switch over to that. So number 1 in average points last year, Christian McCaffrey. I don't think we have any questions about that one. Dog. Number 2, Jonathan Taylor. This is a little controversial. I would say he can be your best player.
I kind of feel like the wheels fell off a
You
little
can
bit, but that was
pretend.
because of
You can talk about he fell off a little bit at the end, and Bijan was the one who really carried Oscar to the championship. But that's a dude.
Let me tell you guys something crazy that I didn't realize until right now.
Running back was so smart.
He played a full 16 games last season, finished with 20 points per game. That is way better than I realized.
Yeah, he beat me in the
Pretty
semis.
nuts.
That's
he
pretty
was really
crazy.
good.
Okay, number 3 is Bijan. Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Number 4 is Jameer. Yes.
Yep.
Number 5, I think I would say yes to this guy, Devon Achane. We saw him actually also bring Jacob to the championship.
He was kind of hooping.
He also brought Jacob to the championships. I don't know. Let me
But he
say
was
this:
good last year.
18 points, 18.1 points per game.
Yeah, but I don't buy into the situation this coming year. But I guess he did kind of do it last year. So
okay,
but he wasn't the best player.
We'll say that tentatively 5. I'll say a couple more names. James Cook.
No.
Yeah.
Close, but no.
And next up is the King. I think the King on a good year is probably a league winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think he's got another league winner year in him?
Dude, I still believe.
I want to believe, but
I still believe.
He might be timeless.
Like, he might be timeless, but I think he's timeless at what he was last year. But is he timeless at what he was like 3 years ago when he was really that guy?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, maybe as your running back 1, I think he'd be a running back 1, but maybe not your best player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
And then here's the one right after Derrick Henry, Chase Brown.
No.
No, wait, okay, but where's Saquon?
Saquon had a bad year last year. Saquon, we could.
Yeah, but Saquon's in there.
Because like I would say Saquon and Derrick Henry at this point in their careers are pretty. I feel like they're pretty equivalent.
I think Saquon's better than Derrick Henry
at this point.
Okay, so for running backs, that still puts us at like 6 to 7, the same kind of range as wide receiver. Whoa! Hey, yo, I didn't do that shit though.
Okay. Serious.
I didn't do that shit though.
Okay, then.
Okay.
And how many are there? Any tight ends with Bowers on there?
I would put 2 tight ends only. I don't know if you guys would agree. I think Trey McBride is definitely a league winner in a PPR league.
Yeah.
Are you Loveland believers?
Not
as a league winner, but as a good tight end, yeah.
So Bowers and McBride probably.
I mean, let me say, Trey McBride would have finished. Trey McBride would have finished wide receiver 5 in terms of points per game last year. So that is like a league winner.
Dude, I'm super worried about that quarterback situation though.
Yeah,
it's gonna be worse.
Jacoby Brissett didn't hurt him. You know what I mean? He actually kind of made him better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I was covering up the word "with" in the title. Who's the best player, worst player you can win with? That was just
okay.
That was for recording purposes. Sorry.
And then quarterback.
Josh Allen, Lamar.
To me personally, I think Mahomes. I personally won leagues. I've won a league before with like quarterback like 12.
Right, but no, I'm talking about guys who.
Oh, your best player
will be your best player.
Sorry, yeah. I would say
just if you're winning the league with a best player who is below Allen, Mahomes, Lamar here, I'm confused.
I actually think fantasy wise, only Lamar and Allen are in that conversation.
Come on. He's like
Mahomes fantasy. Let me tell you Mahomes' last couple fantasy finishes.
But he actually might be the GOAT.
Yeah, but let me tell you his last 3 years. 11, 11, 8.
Which is like good, but not in that like
that's not a league
dude
winner.
Who's gonna carry.
In fantasy, that's not a league winner, I don't think.
Yeah.
I gotta get him some help.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If you like last year, I think last year Drake May was good enough.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, we'll be talking about that in 2027. That's gonna be the 2027 conversation.
On the come up, dude.
Okay, now what if your defense is your best player?
It might be Joker.
All right, we're going to the next question.
Right.
What is an ethical tank? And this one, I want to get
you already nailed it. This is exactly where my head went.
So I just have some examples. This year, the Cardinals, they're tanking. We can say it. This year, I'll also say the Dolphins, they're tanking. Last year, the Raiders were a tank, but I don't think they were trying to be good. They shut down Bowers for most of the year, even when he got healthy. Last year, Karen Deep, that was a pretty blatant tank. And then
definitely.
The Daryl Morey Sixers. I don't know. Do I have to speak?
I do think Karen Deep went real hard on like the young talent stuff.
Dude, when how high did he draft Isaac Tesla?
I was just going to say Isaac Tesla.
It was so crazy. He drafted he drafted Jaden Daniels.
The answer was 11-01. So on
11
is where you can pick some shitter rookies. To be honest,
no, we were still drafting real players by that point. I remember being like,
our
"What the
draft
fuck
from
are we
last
talking
year?"
About? Yeah.
Like that's a guy. Like I got a Rondé Gadsden like round 22. I think Kamiri DK was like round. Like,
okay, let me tell you some relevant names that were drafted round 11. You guys are gonna like these names actually.
Holy
here's one.
Kamiri DK, bro.
Bayshall shut the fuck up for a second, bro. I'm about to talk about round 11 players, okay? Not randoms. Bayshall Tootin, whatever.
Okay.
Jordan Love, real contributor. Javonte
Yeah.
Williams.
Right. Javonte Williams getting drafted at the same
Javonte
time
Williams.
as Isaac Hasselhoff.
Here's a real contributor. Brandon Aubrey.
King.
Stephon Diggs. Najee Harris. And Jacoby Myers. Those were the most relevant names I saw in round 11.
Yeah. Like,
There's
drafting
still some
Isaac
solid
Hasselhoff
bench guys there.
over them in the startup draft was an indicator of what was to come, and it was just drafting like really young players who he believes in.
Yeah.
Hopefully have a shot.
See, I don't think to me, that's not even the tank part. That's a strategy that didn't end up working out. I think the real tank is selling off his best wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, before the trade deadline.
I thought he was injured though.
Yeah, he was, but he still sold a young asset, you know what I'm saying, for the future, or young talent for future assets. Who else did he had some other, he sold Trey McBride this offseason for multiple first round picks.
But then he picked up Henry. I'm so confused by what he's doing.
That's still
what is he?
He still has net positive amount of picks, you know what I mean?
Like, he had net positive amount of picks, but he got Henry, McLaurin. Like, it's old, dude. He has Kelsey Moore, McLaurin, Henry.
I think it's possible to tank with older players, to be honest.
Yeah, because you pick them up for younger players with picks, right? And then you
also
it's kind of ethical if you think about it.
His tank, the real tank aspect of it worked, considering he finished as a bottom 2 seed after he made those trades and got a top 2 pick.
I don't feel like it was that egregious. Like the Daryl Morey Sixers, that was pretty egregious. Which, fuck the process.
Dude, you have to. The thing about the process is they had to get so unlucky for it to be that bad.
I mean, Joel Embiid missed 2 years. Ben Simmons missed a year.
Joel Embiid missed 2 years. Ben Simmons like totally imploded. Markelle Fultz fell apart. Nerlens Noel got never was the same after his like rookie year injuries. Like they really. I pray for Markelle, dude.
I pray for every day,
Markelle in the comments.
I pray for Markelle, bro.
But
dude, they look good.
So they really got unlucky. Still made the Eastern Conference Finals that year, and then shit the bed.
Wait, they haven't made the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, they made the semis when they lost to that the Kawhi shot. That's what I was thinking.
Dude.
The semis, bro. That's their peak. That's brutal. Do we think we've seen any unethical tanks in our own league?
Not yet.
You know what is unethical? You didn't cite the source of this image.
Oh, true.
This is
uncredited. I found myself wondering, where did you get such a clean PNG from? And then
conduct department, get this fella out of here.
Ethics complaint with the board.
Let's attribute this to ESPN.com.
Fair enough.
May or may not be true.
What would you say an unethical tank would look like?
I think we almost had a case of one last year, which was Jacob week 8. When he put Drake May, Devon Achane, and Puka Nacua on his bench when they were all healthy and able to start.
That did happen.
To me, an ethical tank is making your team worse, but gaining future potential, and an unethical tank is your team is still good, but you manipulate results to improve your future outlook. To me, that's an unethical tank.
I also because he put other players in because he hypothetically might have been wanting to lose.
Yeah, hypothetically.
The
professor, you had something to say?
I will say. Oh, go ahead, the professor.
Oh no, I mean, I don't feel like anyone's like, at least from my knowledge, just thrown a game just because.
He does know a lot.
Or there's no collusion. Yeah.
Polymarket has increased the rise of legalized sports gambling has increased the odds of.
I think that money. The other way that I will say I consider a tank unethical is when you I consider a full-on liquidation trade for every pick in a draft, every one of your good players to be kind of.
See, I would even still view that as ethical because you're taking on risk. You know what I mean? You're taking on the risk of you're going to miss draft picks and your team might just be stuck as ass.
I mean, the Orioles did that right before COVID, and they're already back to square one, basically.
But that's not what. Are you guys saying? Is the Sixers, was that ethical tanking?
No.
Because that's what they did.
Was unethical.
The Sixers did that. They literally like went. They were like the worst team.
And
of all
then
time.
here's the thing: they took on the risk of being ass.
Yeah,
and they were ass.
And they were ass. And that, but is that not what like trading every single one of your assets for future picks is?
Yeah.
In the fantasy football game,
definition
it's like
of what the
making
process
yourself
was.
worse so that you're throwing, so that you finish at the back. You get high
Basically,
picks. You're getting other future picks, and you're just kind of investing totally in the future and not caring at all about winning right
just
now.
making a completely unwatchable
It's not.
product.
It's not as unethical as like actually throwing games, but there's an unethical aspect to it.
Interesting points.
But I do feel like there's some validity in that. Like you could just be like a straight mid-tier like fringe team that just goes nowhere. And I feel like we at least in like the NBA, I feel like because with fantasy, you have a guy kind of turn your shit around. We've seen like teams who are just like on the cusp of being like all right, just kind of have mediocre years because they just won't blow it up.
Let me
let
me ask a question then on this point. Would we consider this year's Cardinals and this year's Dolphins unethical tanks because they're not doing everything in their power to make a mediocre team?
I think that's tricky because I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I just think they're so badly run that that's just the result of what's happening.
Yeah, but you could say, let's say for the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are borderline unethical, dude. Paying Malik Willis that much money.
So prior iterations, absolutely, but then they finally fired Chris Greer, so maybe they're being slightly more ethical.
No, this is not.
I'll also bring up the Jets who signed
that money to run that, dude. Oh my god.
The Jets signed Geno Smith to be their QB1 in 2026. Another
hold on, Mehmet. You're forgetting one key aspect. What's the Madden rating? That depends on the ethicalness of the Jets roster.
What's Geno Smith's
What did Brick Johnson say?
Yeah, I was gonna say what was Geno's passer rating this past Madden to determine what's ethical about it?
Is it even worth spending $5 to pick up Malik? He looked terrible today.
Well, that's because he's playing against the mighty Commanders pass rush, which I listened to our beat reporters earlier today. The beat reporter said our D-line looks dominant right now.
Oh my! You spoke to the beat reporters?
I watched a YouTube video where they were talking.
Are they in the best shape of their life?
They're in really good shape. They said
sources are telling me to change the diet this off season.
They said our edge rusher, whose name I forgot, Odafe Owe, they said he looked dominant against the Dolphins O-line.
Yeah, all I'll say is there's a reason why the Finsider did not report this practice.
I think, dude, the four of us might look dominant against the Dolphins.
They also said, guys, Jaden Daniels looked like the best player on the field.
Recently, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, he is the best player in the world. So
probably on the entire country, at least, yeah.
I like how you followed up with him saying best player in the world with, best player in the country.
Well, what matters more?
The USA is the only country in the world. What are you talking about?
When you see
do we
the
have
LA
any more
Olympics,
thoughts on ethical tanking?
I think what's been said pretty much covered.
It seems like this is a gray area issue with maybe not one divisive answer.
This image is throwing me off so much, by the way. It's so strange seeing fucking Markelle Fultz just being alive.
I miss him. Pray for him, dude.
Pray for Markelle.
Pray
for Markelle.
Fucked up the shot.
Good talk, guys. We're gonna go to our last topic now. I forget what it even is. It's gonna be a shock. Oh, I just remembered. How much a first round pick worth? I tried to find the closest things we had to like pure pick trades, but there wasn't that many. So these are the trades I came up with. The first one is a pure pick trade. Terry McLaurin for a 2027 first. That is a 1-for-1 swap. So you could say that's almost an exchange rate, if you will. The second one is once again Terry McLaurin. It's Terry McLaurin and Chase Brown.
Harry, baby.
Terry McLaurin and Chase Brown for a 2026, the 1.04 picks in this year's draft.
Was that first one deep? Was that deep?
No, the first one was we don't have to talk about who made which trade and for which player, but the first one was not involving deep. It was involving somebody in the call.
None of the trades I made are on this list.
Two people in the call actually were involved in that first trade. Second trade, Terry McLaurin and Chase Brown for 4th overall pick this year and second round pick next year. We have Derrick Henry and Cam Ward for 2 first-round picks. One is the 7th pick this year, and the other is a 2028 first. And we have Trey McBride for Gadsden, 104, and a 2028 first. And I feel like, despite the fact that I like Gadsden, I think that's basically just a pick swap or straight swap. When you look at the total package.
McBride, right? Yeah, it's
I think 2 first is probably the minimum price for a league winner, like we discussed, like Trey McBride.
You know, I mean, okay, so the thing about it is that 2026 104 that got moved twice in this. That's that's valuable, right? You
Yep.
have to think about who that ends up being.
Yep.
Oh, I just noticed that. Yeah, the 2026 104 was traded multiple times. That's fine.
That was also that
brother.
those first two trades happened within, I would say, 2 weeks of each other, maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe
would say-
one.
Was it? Wait, I'm trying to remember.
Terry getting passed around.
Was that before he came back during the season?
No, these are all off-season trades.
These are
Every
all
single one of these
off-season
trades is an
trades.
off-season
Okay.
trade.
Gotcha.
So these were all with like the benefit of like no injury concerns. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's in
Also,
their
kind
best
of
shape of
knowing
their
what some of the
lives.
picks are
And
worth.
you knew the draft order exactly, right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the other thing.
That's why the pick numbers are labeled here too. Yeah, we knew which picks were going to be in the 2026 draft.
Gotcha.
So Terry for a 2027 first is an interesting one because people really have this really high value of 2027 first right now,
Yeah.
and people kind of always have. Like this.
I feel like next year is
people view-
always really
view a
good,
lot
and this
of-
year sucks.
Yeah,
people view. But
the vibes
there's
are
also,
always
like-
good the next year.
there's also like a little bit more validity. Like you see the prospects coming next year,
Yeah.
Like, Jeremiah
We got
It's,
Jeremiah Smith.
and the quarterbacks that everybody talk. Which you never know. They always talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and
I don't
yeah.
care about
I thought we
quarterback
got
combo,
none.
TBH.
There's Arch, who's going to join the Commanders, and
In 2 years, he's going to stay a full 4 years in college.
Dante Moore? Question
oh
mark?
right, of course, Dante Moore.
Yeah.
How
But
much is an option for
people
first
view
pick?
2027 firsts as higher value than the
Crap.
current ones.
There's no lottery in this, Max. It's just
There is
Yeah.
actually a lottery.
We do have a lottery.
We have a lottery system.
I'm saying instead of trading for 2027 first, how about the ability to exercise a trade?
That's what
later?
I responded to.
There's no
No.
conditional
Fine,
first.
right.
So
Yeah, I was
far.
gonna say that's what I meant. There's no conditional.
Oh,
Like
so
there's not
far.
like a
So
top
far.
6. Yeah.
So far, so far.
So far.
So far,
So
so
far.
far.
So far.
No,
I'm not
so-
against
No,
him.
please
I'm
don't
not
do
against
it.
it.
Please don't do it. Please
Yeah,
I'm
don't
not
do it.
against it.
Because
Please
there's
don't
no,
do
we're not doing like protected pick swaps or anything like that.
That's what these people want. That's what they
I
want.
know.
So,
the real sickos
in terms
want
of
like
the-
top 2 protected.
I think maybe the only one player for one first round pick trade we've ever had. How do we feel about Terry McLaurin for a 2027 first as an exchange rate?
I feel like it kind of depends on how you view that first. If you view it as like an early, mid, or late first. I feel like
Yeah.
I think we can
a
view it as
first
an
is
early
not a
first.
You view it as an early
You
first.
sure?
I mean, unless somebody else wants to counter that claim, but
So I
I think it might be an early
We have to wait
first.
and see. I guess we have to wait and
I
see.
I think it might. If you view it as an early first, then it's like bailing on Terry, kind of
Yeah.
is potentially the right time, right? You think he's getting
Yeah.
up there, and you want to basically get next Ohio State wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yup.
Next
they,
up,
they
next
always
up.
right?
exchange
Yeah,
for each other. One Ohio State receiver for another.
Right.
One LSU
A
receiver
soul
for another.
soul.
Yeah, soul for a soul. What did it cost? Nothing really.
I think that's pretty fair value.
Oh, interesting, okay.
You know, obviously, given you have to think about the situation as the team receiving Terry. If you're going, if it's your 2027 first, if it's early, what are you doing? You know,
I'm not knowledgeable enough about next year's draft. Is there a strong crop of receivers in the 27 draft?
There's like 4
Okay.
deep, 4 deep elite
everybody,
talents allegedly.
everybody's talking about him.
Okay, so then I would agree that a Terry specifically for a 2027
God
first
bless his soul.
is like actually fair trade value because that virtually you have a pretty good chance of getting one of those, as you guys say, one of those 4 good receiver prospects.
Right.
So
I feel like if you're trading a first, ideally it should be like, oh, I'm like a piece away. I'm just gonna say, fuck it, I'm making a win now move. I'm trading
yes,
first.
yeah, I agree.
If you're in the lottery, you probably should be trading your first because you need to build a strong foundation of your team. And a high pick is how you get your like cornerstone player that could be a league winner.
Which, if you ask me, Terry McLaurin, he's probably most likely going to be a top 10 receiver next year. So
I hope so.
Yeah, I feel like the
Be
Tommies
Mehmet.
are coming back with a vengeance.
Mehmet, we kind of need him to be.
no, he by natural product. When Jaden Daniels throws for 5,000 yards, somebody on the team has to be a top 10 wide
He's
receiver.
due because of last year. He's so due.
Yeah,
I do
Yeah,
think this
that's
year,
what I think in sports. He's due. Yes,
Alright.
he's older, but he's due.
I do think this year has a little bit of a difference. When you get closer and closer to the draft, you start to actually look at who you're gonna get with these picks.
Yeah.
You know, more so than just picks as a whole. When I see like that 104 to me is worth a lot more than the 107. even though you could say they're both like kind of mid 2026 first.
Yeah.
Knowing the draft, I'd much rather, the 4 is probably getting you, hopefully, Lemon?
Yeah, this
Or
year it feels
Darian
like
Price or
Darian Price.
Bryson, or it's one of those guys. Whereas that 7th pick,
Could be anything.
I like Omar
Sadiq.
Cooper. I like Omar Cooper, and I like Sadiq.
this year definitely feels like an exponential drop off after like probably the 4 or 5 pick range.
Depending on how much you like Mendoza,
Yeah.
Yes.
And Price, which
Yeah.
most people like Price, at least a little bit.
Mendoza, I forget. Do Mendoza's teammates like him?
Yeah, bro, he's a
I
good guy.
Dude, he's literally the best man ever.
They say
I was
he's
gonna
the coolest guy ever.
He's on the spectrum.
Literally, yeah.
He's a ride or die, so that's high IQ rating right there.
Is he the only player to win a real national championship and a dynasty national championship?
Oh, well,
shit.
he actually,
That's big.
if you count bench players, then sure, he won a dynasty national championship.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
ring's
got the
a
ring.
ring.
The ring's a ring.
But he was
Right
in,
there, maybe.
in a hypothetical
real.
CFB 25 dynasty game. He was the benched player behind quarterback. I don't know his first name, Rogers. So-
I was gonna say, so we'll get the diamond tester out. We need to test both the rings. See if they're both legit.
We have some other trades. We focused on this first one a lot, but we have another trade. Like I think the third trade there is actually probably the easiest one to talk about. 2 players for 2 first-round picks, Derrick Henry and Cam Ward. Personally,
There's a
I feel like
second.
those players are probably worth those picks. Maybe Cam Ward, we don't know if he's a first-round pick yet, but you guys
I
got any
like
thoughts on
Cam
that?
Ward.
Ward fact?
I
love
got
that.
fun Cam Ward fact.
Yeah, fun Cam Ward fact.
I like Cam Ward, but in the 2028 first is so far away that I don't even like. I guess it's worth something. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, think about this.
It's kind of a
Like,
gamble. That's all
if
you
you are a
say.
team,
lot of-
if you are a team that's starting to blow it up by giving up a guy like Derrick Henry, which is probably what you got to do, right? You think
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is eventually he's got to fall off.
I was gonna say, Derek's
Like
entering
LeBron.
his age 33 year. How old is he?
Let me bring up a point that I've been thinking about a lot recently.
32.
After tomorrow, which tomorrow's our draft night, 2028 picks are going to be essentially what 2027 picks are for us right now. They're only going to be 2 years out, so
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
good
We're-
point.
we're
1
pretty
year
close.
closer, some would even say.
we're
When
pretty
can I trade my
close to.
2029?
I would say we're pretty close to 2028 picks, stepping up like double value, almost even.
Exponential value,
shit.
one might even say.
Maybe
Yeah,
even.
but
Yeah.
that's only if people get this weird perception about the draft, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
people
That's
have.
true.
People in particular are like 2027, right?
Yeah, I mean more so
Yeah.
that they're going to be the most immediate future pick after tomorrow's draft.
The current.
That's gonna
yeah.
be the most
Yeah,
primo
it's good
asset.
place-
Man,
But I just feel like context with the first is always important. 'Cause I feel like
Yeah.
competing teams probably doesn't hurt to dump your first off. If you're a team who's rebuilding, by God, you got to hold your first.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a next year first.
We can talk about current upcoming first being traded with the trade that happened today.
Oh, I didn't put that
There's
on
a
because I felt like there was too many moving parts
wait,
to.
there was a trade today? Sorry, I've been so.
Oh,
There was a
wow.
lot of moving parts, but we can
Dude.
talk to that trade if you would like.
Crazy trade, dude.
Because
Oh yeah.
To-
I don't know if this is sarcastic.
No, it is a big trade.
Oh no,
it
it was
actually
actually
is a big trade.
I didn't see.
I'll pull it up. Let me. I'll verbally go through the trade real quick.
Who was it? Like
The
no,
trade
It was
is
Bill and I. It was Bill and I.
it was Bill and you.
the
Okay.
trade is Josh Allen, David Montgomery, a second from this year, and 111 this year, a late first round, essentially an early second, if you will, for
It's
Jahmyr
not bad.
Gibbs, Bryce Young, and a 2027 third.
Hmm.
So if
That is
that's a
cheap.
little hard to follow, we can kind of. The gist of the trade really boils down to Jahmyr Gibbs for Josh Allen plus a late first this year.
Yeah, although Montgomery's not nothing. Like, people are high on Montgomery.
Those
this year.
are though there are significant assets outside of it, but I feel like that's the real.
Wait,
that's the real
you
core.
said it's the 11th pick in the first round?
Yeah, of this year.
Okay.
I think that's
Hmm.
not that far off from what my initial offer was, Mehmet. I think it was Allen the 111 and a third for Gibbs.
Yeah.
like alone.
I'm just
And then
trying
we
to
ended up-
trying
we
to
ended
keep
up
it easy to follow. verbally.
negotiating our way to this. But that was kind of my mindset was like,
Yeah,
it's a first round pick, so it's something, that 111. But I thought about it as something that could bridge the gap between Allen to Gibbs, because Allen for Gibbs straight up was obviously not gonna
my
happen.
initial reaction when I
Yeah.
saw this today was I thought to myself, oh, Jahmyr Gibbs is worth more than a late first round pick. But then when I think about long term asset management in fantasy and like, you know, running backs versus quarterbacks, especially with Josh Allen being like the most valuable quarterback ever. Pretty fair, honestly. Relatively fair.
Yeah,
even.
I think
fair.
this trade will turn out very good to me if I throw all my eggs into Trevor Lawrence basket. And
and Jahmyr Gibbs is 24. Insanely
and
young.
Jahmyr Gibbs is so young. I mean, you guys have been subject to some of the trade offers. I've spent the entire offseason trying to get younger at running back because I'm terrified of Christian McCaffrey getting hurt.
Yeah,
dude, that's pretty
that's why I'm so reluctant to move Janty.
Yeah, I sent you offers for Denty.
Yeah,
I've sent you offers for Denty, Shane.
Did
I said?
Johnny,
I mean,
everybody.
I sent Mehmet. I sent Mehmet offers for Judkins and Cook.
I'm pretty sure
they were good offers too. I won't lie, they were decent offers.
Sure the only people who didn't send me offers for Janty is Ivan and like fucking Oscar, because I don't think Oscar's paying attention at all. So
you want Josh Brooks for him?
But like, you know, I spent the entire time I was like, I want to upgrade at running back. I spent a good time trying to trade Montgomery, and I spent a good amount of time trying to trade Lawrence. Because I wanted to keep Allen for a while. Yeah. But then eventually I was like, well, you can swing for the fences.
Fuck it, you got Trevor Lawrence, bro. You got the greatest quarterback of all time.
And I'm still ruining the fact that I passed over Herbert like an idiot. Although everyone saw that training camp video, he might not be locked in anymore.
No, he's locked in. I saw him throw some spirals today. If man is having his best year of his career this year. With Mike McDaniels.
Because Dak is a great fantasy quarterback, but God, if I had Herbert and Dak, that would have been so sexy.
Yeah,
I like that I have Allen and Baker Mayfield is now my backup.
and I knew that, yeah. Cause originally, I don't know, I had the idea of trading Allen a while ago with I talked to Johnny very briefly about something with Allen for Jamar Chase.
Speaking of I saw this weird.
He ended up trading for
Shane.
I'm sorry.
When he was when Johnny was searching for a quarterback, he ended up getting Caleb Williams, so now he didn't want it anymore.
Probably for a high price too, considering how young Caleb Williams is.
Johnny also has Kyler now too, because I gave him, or we traded.
Yeah, it would suck if you had a JJ McCarthy.
But no, the point where Johnny had like no quarterback at all, and he was like actually putting Shadur Sanders in his fantasy.
Yeah, which would make you think that he'd be like desperate and make like a lopsided trade for one.
Hold on, as an aside, where do we think 9 ends up? Actually,
he's gonna end up as a starter on my team.
On my fantasy bench.
Starter on my team by week 10.
On my fantasy bench.
Starter on my team by week 10.
I mean, if Justin Jefferson says he doesn't want to play with 9, it's over.
Justin Jefferson, bro, I haven't seen you read randoms who make up AI generated quotes on Twitter.com, bro. Like, do some fucking research before you talking that. I pulled the fucking statistics in this goddamn Socratic seminar, and you're here talking about AI generated quotes, bro. I'm sorry, guys. I said let's keep it cordial. My apologies, guys.
I hope Kyler Murray goes back to baseball.
That'd be awesome.
The A's need people. Wait, I forget. Ivan, what account did you aggregate? Thinking it was BrazilNews.com or some shit?
India News. India Sports Network. India Sports Network.
Hey, shout out India, bro. Everything they said so far has been correct.
Ivan's doing PR for India. Awesome.
Yeah, controversial.
Well, guys, I think that was incredibly productive. I think no minds were changed. I think there was really cordial discussion. I think everybody was nice to each other. And I look forward to not only spending the draft with you guys, but probably the rest of our lives until one of us dies and we disband the league.
And then we drift apart.
Dude, I'm getting hammered tomorrow night.
You're getting hammered, bro? Get hammered before you make your first round
I might
pick.
have to bring up the Cam Ward jersey.
Are we going back to Miller's? Did we agree on that?
No doxing. We'll see. We'll see the listeners in the next episode.
Can you bleep that?
Well, we'll see the viewers in my post-draft analysis where all my late-round picks are really good and everybody else reached. Bye-bye.
Of course.
You know,